to know about edible garden, kita akan just refer to engkau je lah.
Guys, now start setting up live streaming sekarang. So we'll test run a little while, yeah. Yeah. Yes, guys, we are up in, we are live in YouTube.
Alright.
Okay. So dia akan live sebentar lagi lah. Sekarang kalau klik link tu sudah nampak dah.
Pakai mask juga kan?
Saja je. Kejap lagi aku buka lah. Kejap lagi saja je. Saja je.
Orang nak tengok muka kau.
Nanti buka lah. Mana link?
Dah live ke?
Dah live dah. Tapi bahagian ni nanti kita akan trim.
Oh, okay.
Apa buat aku tepuk lah.
So we're gonna give another how many more minutes?
Yes, guys. I think we will have to wait for another 5 minutes. Right, let's give everybody another 5 minutes.
Hello? Dengar?
Dengar. Yes, listen.
Hello. Okay. Okay, kita tunggu 2 minit lagi ya sebelum kita mulakan.
Boleh.
Baiklah. Okay, selamat pagi semua. Good morning everyone. Thank you for joining our session on this lovely morning. So, for those who are new to Pasar Kita, we are a platform that helps urban growers to grow their crops, and we help them to market in our platform and to the community. So Pasar Kita has an onboarding program to help new growers to join our platform to participate in agriculture business using urban farming. And we are currently having a donation drive to raise funds for us to help these people who are in need. So I will share the link with you in the chat box later. Please do share and please help us to spread the news. Today, we are very honored to have Encik Rashdan joining us today in this morning to talk about how to start your edible garden. So I will pass the floor to Encik Rashdan to introduce himself and to let us know more about urban farming and also edible garden. The floor is yours. Pass to you, Encik Rashdan.
Alright. Okay. Thank you, Mike. Alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And selamat pagi lah. A very good morning. And not to forget, today is a Father's Day. Okay. So as a father, I'm very honored. Someone is laughing down there. Okay. So to all fathers kat Malaysia, all over the world. So happy Father's Day. You guys do a very good job. You know. Doing good things, good deeds, all the time for the family and so on. So hopefully lah, okay, insyaAllah, God will, kita akan do more things together. Okay, like what Mike did mention earlier, we are doing something good for the community. Okay, helping others in needs. Okay, especially during this pandemic, what they call that time. So it's really a historic time for everyone, not in just Malaysia, but all over the world. Okay. Not to waste much time because an hour is just, this is not, what I call it, not like enough for me, people like me to share what my, what I call that, my ongoing activities, day in, day out. In fact, that this morning, supposedly I supposed to be in Jelebu, to collect some of my yields, my sugar canes, yes, and then we're gonna plant it somewhere in KL. Later, maybe in the next episode, I will share with you guys. Okay, before that, I would like to introduce myself. Okay, I am Rashdan Rashid, or you guys can call me RR. Okay. I am 42, not 24, 42 years old. Okay. Married with 7 boys. Okay, I got 7 boys. All right. I'm a local lad. I'm from KL. Okay, purely anak jati Kuala Lumpur. Okay, and a budak flat as well. Okay, once almost 10 years I stay in flats in Bangsa. I'm from Bangsa. I'm a Bangsa boy. Okay. Mainly I'm very much involved with the community projects, activities during my growing days. You see, from primary school to secondary, and then after that I do my own business. You know, I'm inherit a nasi lemak stall from my mother, my late mother, in Bukit Damansara. So that's where I have ample time. I got what do you call that, extra, I mean an extra lah, I can say that I got what do you call more times to mingle around, to get to know people, to be rapport with many, you know, name it, in government, corporate, and so on. And a long story cut it short, my what do you call that, my involvement in community led me to what do you call that, led me to this appointment as a chairman of urban farming Kuala Lumpur. Okay, for those who don't know about the what do you call this, in unit called Local Agenda 21. Actually, this L21 is a unit whereby that they are focusing more on what they call community engagement. So for 154 municipal all over Malaysia, they have this either it's a unit or maybe a person who actually manage these units, you see, whereby that this unit, their role, their task is like what I'm doing now, is engaging with the community, engaging with the private sector, and engaging with NGI, you know, not just NGO, also an NGI, individual, and so on. So this is to make sure that our what do you call that, our municipal objective, you know, making city or their district a greater place or habitat happen, you know, as planned. Okay, other than that, my involvement, not just in KL, actually I'm very much involved with community project in Shah Alam, in Subang Jaya, you know, in Ampang Jaya, where I stay at the moment, and then even a bit outskirt, this what do you call it, Rembau and Negeri Sembilan. So I was involved in Negeri Sembilan as well, and then even in Sepang, all right, being called as being appointed, not just called, being appointed as the jury for what do you call this, urban farming competition. Okay, and then other than that, I also been appointed by this Ministry of Housing. Okay, under this Dasar Komuniti Negara. Okay, whereby that my role actually is to do assessment on the community project, mainly on urban farming. So that's mainly about myself a bit. So I think I've more time in the future, so I will share more about my exciting, what do you call that, adventure doing this community work. So I think let's get the ball rolling. All right. So I pass back to you, Mike. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Encik Rashdan, for this introduction. So now we know more about you and what you do. So we often get this question. Okay, there are a lot of people in urban area like in KL. Okay, living in PPR or having staying in condos, or some even in landed, and
Yeah.
they like gardening because in KL in green area we are really short of green areas. So a lot of people start asking, can we plant something in the greater KL or in urban city? So they often ask me, how do I start my own farm? And today I would love to throw this question to you, Encik Rashdan. How do I start my own farm?
All right. As expected. Okay. That's why I'm here this morning. Farming. Okay. Okay. We start with land first. Okay. You want to do farming. So where you want to grow? Okay. As you said earlier, some places they don't have space, they don't have land, so they are living in this what call flats or apartments. So very minimal space. So but when you're talking about community, when you're talking about residential, so we have actually what do you call this the policy by the government encouraging people to do farming, especially for the community. So to start with, how I'm gonna start my own farm. Okay, first thing first, what I can say actually is, as I said, is the infra first. We need to get this infra things done. Okay, so the first step need to be done. My experience actually is how to identify a place whereby that there's no what call that any interruption. Okay, there's I can see it's free from any complaints and so on. So we need to identify that first. Okay, because we don't want that at the end of the day when we start do farming and then there's all this commotion, people start claiming, hey, that is my land, that is not your land. Why suddenly you can do plant, why I can't, and so on, so on. So first thing first, need to have an official what do you call that? You need an approval of using a land, mainly from your own municipal. So like myself, example in KL. So wherever that I feel I wanted to plant anything and start to want to grow my stuff, I will make sure that who's the owner of the land. Example, yeah, we have under the pylons, okay, under the TNB pylons, the grid. So we really need to get an approval by them first, okay, before we move forward. So we need to ask the technical unit from TNB whether that allow people to do farming. This is where I'm saying now a lot of people start doing. You see, a lot of people start doing farming because they have in KL especially we have very limited land, so they start doing farming under the TNB pylon, and then some of the projects are very successful. Okay, so then after we get an approval from TNB, we need to engage with the municipal. This is very important. Okay, because the municipal will ensure in terms of technicality. Okay, whereby that there's been no complaint, especially on the parking. You know, because most of people don't aware that when you do farming, you will start what do you call that occupied space. You know, start your area. So that's where we don't want any complaint by the residents nearby. If the area that you want to start your project, your compound or your farm is far away from residential, then it's okay. All right. So this is where we need to understand when we plan to do any gardening and so on. We want to ensure there's no complaint and so on from the public and so on. Okay. Then other than that, other than TNB, many nowadays also prefer to do their farming at the buffer of a river buffer. Okay, so like under this water and irrigation department. So we need to discuss to get an approval from them. Okay, before we start our project. And the best actually if you're staying in the PPR, in KL, basically our mayor, okay, our Datuk Banda really encourage as many people to make use of government lands, okay, especially at their at the compound of the flats to do the farming. So this is a very good sign for us to start farming. And then on top of that, I believe when we stay in the resident area, there is a school nearby. So we also can make use of school compound to be used as the our garden lah. Okay, because in terms of security, safety, and then in terms of manpower, so we can solve many things when we do farming inside a compound whereby that we have authority, to look after. And then other than that, so how to start my farm? This is just the first first phase. Okay, so we will go. We will move in detail later. So we have places like, maybe a mosque. We have places like a temple. So we a church and so on. So if there is an ample area suitable to do planting, so we can discuss with the committee on how we can go about it. And then when I say committee, so when I want to start my farming, I also need my own committee. So this is a very important, the human capital part. So a lot of people think that, oh, I want to plant and then I want to do it for myself. So this can really jeopardize, or your effort. You see, so you need to have a team. All right, when you want to start a farming, unless you are really a champion lah. That one is different lah. Macam like myself, I don't have any background. Okay, now you're laughing. I don't have any background on farming, but for the last 6 years, uh, chairing this initiative, Local Agenda 21 urban community garden project. So I learned a lot. Okay, I will go that later. But for the start, land is a very, very what do you call that, important part when you're going to start to do farming. So we need to ensure that you have the authority, you have the right, okay, the permission to make use of the land before we do something there. So if you ask me again, how do I start? Is to ensure that I will not getting any problem in the future. So get that thing first right. Okay, then we go to the next level. Okay, that will be my first answer lah for the first
Oh,
question. Okay.
okay. Thank you for sharing. So that's really very insightful. So how do we apply to use the government's land for gardening or for urban farming purpose?
Oh yeah, okay, actually, okay. Now let's say we already identify the land. Okay, let's say quarter acre or maybe 20, even 20 by 20. Belongs to the government land, or not even government, even it is a GLC or private or even individual land. So what we need to do first actually is to get what do you call that? An approval, so whereby it must be in written. So everything must be on paper. Okay, but you must have a black and white. You must get a black paper in the black and white. So once you have that, then easy for you to move forward. So for now, if you have that in your hand, then you can start plan what's next. Okay, let's say as I said, I want to do a project under the pylon. So I need to make sure that TNB and then our land office PTG, give an okay for me to start, and then I will get the ball rolling. If not, if there is no black and white, so please don't go. Okay, once you have your approval, okay, what's next? Okay, we are talking under this scope of community. Okay, as I said earlier, myself alone I can't do much because we maybe have any things to do in the future and whatsoever. So we don't want that our effort be down the drain lah. Okay, so what we need to do after we have that approval is to form a committee. So we have two scenario here. One scenario, we can work together with the RAs. We can work together with this rukun tetangga, the resident association. Or let's say we want to do at school, so we can work with the PTA, the PIBG. Or if we want to do it with the mosque, we can do it. We can work together with the jawatan kuasa masjid or surau and so on. So you know what I mean. So once you have an approval, let's say, okay, I'll give you numbers of examples, yeah. Okay, because we want to make sure that every walk of life, those listeners, those viewers outside there, they know if they want to do with the mosque, what is the procedure. Okay, first thing first, write to the authority, which is, let's say I'm doing in my place in Ampang, I need to write to Jabatan Agama Islam Selangor. Okay, so wait until they respond. So wait until they reply with a black and white. Okay, with the black and white, and then later baru you go to the next level. Okay, if schools, you need to discuss with the principal or headmaster. Okay, or the HM. All right. So once the green light given to you, then you can start working with the committee, the parent especially, because we want the parent to actually if they can't give much on donation on monetary, they also can participate in build up the farm. I mean, what do you call that? The
Mhm.
edible garden for the
Okay.
kids, you see now it's getting more interesting, right? Okay,
Mm.
the schools, and then the same goes. If you want to do it, with the NGO, okay, like now everyone know there are many food banks and so on. There are many, they call it gerabak rezeki, people start do crowdfunding and so on. So we can also do that with the NGO. So the NGO, we can apply a piece of land, like myself, my persatuan, my association, Lestari Alam Malaysia. So we managed to secure numbers of acres of land, okay, to be shared with those who are really interested to do farming. Okay,
Mhm.
so my association have the authority from the ministry, from
Mm.
the landowner. So we can work together. So this is in line with this sustainable development goals, partnership
Mm.
for the goals. Not
Okay.
just goals number two,
Mm.
zero hunger. But we are talking
Ah.
about today. I will focusing more on partnership for the goals. Okay, because you see,
Oh, okay.
because we want to start a farm, because we don't want the farm, you know, not really doing okay. What I mean is, you want to make sure that it will be a sustain. It's going to be a sustainable
Mhm.
project for the community. Even though you are the one who actually want to start it, but we are
Mhm.
talking
Mhm.
under my jurisdiction. Is more or less is more to community, because I believe when you work together with community, you will get greater result. You see, so as I
Mm.
said, so we need to engage. We need to make sure that you have the authority permission
Mhm.
from the owner of the land, and then you form a committee. So the committee, you need to do the planning. You need once you have the committee, you need to do the planning. You need to make sure that everyone have their own role. You see, because to do farming is sound easy, because I mean,
Mhm.
we thought that it's like an ABC, but no.
Yeah.
Once you have your group of people who are really dedicated,
Mhm.
okay, and then it can happen. So back to how to apply to use community land and so on. We need to have an approval from the landowner, and then from there you need to get your community, the team, to execute the projects. And then after that, we can go to the next level. So that will answer the question.
I
All
see.
right. Thank you.
So, um, to begin with, what is the recommended size or the member of the team that we are talking about? Like, what are the skills that are particularly important, or what kind of time commitments that we are talking about?
Okay, Mike. Actually, it's depending, Mike.
Mhm.
What actually you have in mind? What actually you have? What your really plan? What's your plan? Your big plan for the project? Okay, let's say some people, they just do it just for the sake of, they want to as a self consumption. They don't have any interest to do it into a commercial scale and so on. So it's just what do you call that? It's just uh, like an hobby thing. So whatever you want to do, whether is it for your own use, okay, or your community, or even you want to uh, make it as a business for the community, as a social enterprise initiative, and so on, you need to have a plan. Okay, you need to have a plan. So before you start whatever your project, you need to have someone to engineer, or and as I said, someone who can draw,
Mhm.
your garden. So get someone who are probably a landscape architect and so on. So get advice from them, because we want to make sure about the water, what do you call that, consumption. I mean, uh, the use of water there,
Okay.
and then the soil. We're talking about the light, the sunlight, whether
Mhm.
is it what call it, doable for farming activities there. So as I
Mhm.
said, we need to have someone who are expert, okay, expert to design your your farm. So to organize it, I can say that sound easy, but if you have experience, that's okay. But if you're not, my recommendation, uh, in the municipal department, they have this department called landscape department. So you can engage with them. Okay, you can engage with landscape department, get the officer to assist you. Now, how to draw, how to design your kebun, or else now I can say there are many association, focusing more on this food security. One of them, Permaculture Association Malaysia, PCAM. Okay, you guys can Google, you can find out from the Facebook and so on. So you can get their advice. Okay, I believe there'll be a token, small token, to be paid to them, and they can assist you to ensure that your project can be happen as planned. So first thing, you need to do a map, okay, of your garden. Okay, you can make use of traditional ways of planting using our forefather punya method, our nenek moyang punya style. That's why they call it permaculture, permanent agriculture. Okay, so I can see it's organic, so that's what people are what do you call that, looking at lah at the moment. So people now prefer this organic punya vegetables and so on. And then we also can make use of inputs, inputs, design or innovation from Mardi, our own department of what do you call it, agriculture. So they have all these inputs, this self watering, they have all this aquaponic, they have also sort of inputs so that we can just buy, from Shopee or Lazada, or maybe directly from them. So we can use that as well. So as I said, we have two, one is traditional and one is using the modern input, agriculture input. So we have two. And then secondly, we need to ensure the timing, because we can't simply plant anything that we wanted. You got the seed today, suddenly you want to plant. No, it doesn't work that way. So you need to mark your calendar. You need someone, an expert who already have experience. Like I said earlier, PCAM or maybe Seeds Malaysia. Seeds also a very famous what do you call that, movement. Social Eco Enterprise Development for Sustainability, led by Haji Razak. You guys can Google, you can find out on YouTube and many more. Seeds Malaysia. So you can ask Seeds Malaysia to assist you on how to not just design, how uh, to estimate, your what activities, from day one, from the seeding, the indoor seedings, and then start plant it, after 10-15 days and so on. So we need to know that, and then later on you will decide which vegetables that you really want to plant. And then number three, minimize whatever cost. As I said earlier, you have two option. Okay, whether you want to do it traditionally, or you want to purchase any inputs. So my advice for those beginner, use all these recyclables items. Okay, like bottles container, the bottle container, the detergent bottle container. We have something like used tire, maybe blocks, any construction happening nearby your area. So you can ask them whether there is an what do you call that, extra blocks. Okay, and oh, maybe this is another new ways using what do you call that, Ecobricks. Okay, that one those who are into environment, I think they will support. Okay, my point here, because when we are talking about make use of bottles, turn into a bricks, and then we use it for our kebun, our farm, then will be a great what do you call that, solution, for our environment. Okay, so they call it Ecobricks lah. Okay, so Ecobricks can replace the bricks, or and then most of people all this while use what do you call that, the plywood, the plywood. Okay, one thing about if you're using plank on the plywood, it will cause termite. Okay.
Encik Rasidan,
Okay.
Yes, Mr.
just
Nizam.
to cut you off, so let's answer some of the questions available on the floor. So then we can continue the sharing session about this edible park.
Mhm.
So I think Mike, maybe you can just list down these questions. One of the question is, you want to highlight the questions or should I?
Yeah. So there's a question from the floor from Encik Safwan. So he asked,
Oh,
have you ever incorporating participatory budgeting to give more impact to your community farming? So any tips to get these budgets from the stakeholders like various entities?
mhm. Okay. If you have ever incorporating, yeah. Okay. To answer that, we have numbers of farm. Okay, under my supervision in KL, especially, we have farm like Sripalis. So we incorporate. We work together with corporate sector. Yes, we work together with corporate sector like Shell Malaysia. We work together with the business owners nearby, and then at the same time, at the moment, we have numbers of corporates really interested, to work with the farming project. Okay, I think I just mentioned lah, their name like Bank Rakyat. Okay, Bank Rakyat, they are very much into urban farming nowadays. In fact, DIY, Mr. DIY also, a couple of weeks back,
Oh,
they're
okay.
also, yes, Mr. DIY also, they're interest, they are really keen to work with my what do you call that, my project in Taman Desa. Actually, I'm
Mhm.
running this urban farming for the homeless. Homeless, they call it Hijrah Warrior. So to answer what Mr. Safwan question from various entities, it really give greater impact actually, because when we collaborate with many sectors, so we have what do you call that, good better result. Okay, because some of our collaborators, they are expert, in producing organic, what do you call that, fertilizer and so on, even the plant booster. So this will make sure that your kebun or your farm being sustained. So in order to do budgeting, is more convenient because we have other party to assist you, okay, on your kebun. So that's why our Sri Police kebun from 2014 when they started until today, they are still sustained. They are still the best in Malaysia. You know. Okay, so that we answer what Mr. Safwan question lah. All right. Oh, oh yeah.
There's
Any
also
any tips?
another question
Okay.
from the floor. So would you consider promoting edible garden to primary schools?
Exactly, exactly. That's why I'm here this morning. Okay, okay. Actually, um, number a couple years back, okay, the minister Mazli Malik, okay, he not even encourage the schools. What I mean when we talk about schools, everyone involved, the parents, the schools administration, in fact, the canteen operator, the gardener, and so on, to be involved in farming. Uh, you know what? He encouraged, the former Minister of Education. He encouraged even the school start practicing composting in school.
Mm.
All right. So this is a very good what do you call that, advice from the minister. Unfortunately, we are still what do you call that, new in this. So not many schools can do because of the expertise lah. I mean the lack of what do you call it, knowledge about starting a farming. So to answer, consider to promoting edible garden. Yes, very much. In fact, that numbers of kindergartens under local agenda Cecuan Kuala Lumpur, we have gardens for the kids and also for the parents. So both also participate. So this is a very, very important part to ensure that these urban farming activities happen as planned. Because we want to nurture the kids, from the age of 4, 5 to start to know the seeds, especially because we afraid in the future, like we've been left out for numbers of years in this agriculture sector. So we afraid that many of the teachers in the future, they can't recognize, they don't know to, the look of serai and lalang, so this is my main concern. So that's why I very much into promoting urban garden or edible garden at schools, especially the primary and also kindergarten. So we want to start young. We want to make sure that everyone support this initiative. And I believe after this MCO, I think sometime in September, we can start identify schools and kindergarten as part of this urban farming project. You see, so they will be, as I mentioned earlier, as I did mention about in terms of security, in terms of manpower. So we have ample manpower when we do it farming at schools. All right, because we can get our gardener and also the security guard to participate while everyone are away. All right, maybe during the MCO and so on. Okay, that will answer from the question from Lim Li Ching thing. All right, so
So
else.
yes, you mentioned about we need a team probably with experience to start these projects. Okay, so for a beginner like me, so can you lay out like the first 3 steps that I need to do for me to kickstart this project?
Okay, this will be I will repeat. Okay, the step by step. Okay, first thing first, you need to do a map. Okay, for your garden. Okay, let's say at your house you have a very small area, at the corner. So you need to know what you want to plant. Okay, what sort of vegetables or maybe herbs, or maybe you want to plant anything. You need to have the plan first before you start doing your gardening. Because the water sourcing, everything, as I said, the light, so all this component. And in fact, that if you can, to make sure that you have a compost area nearby, and so that's why you need to have a proper mapping at the garden. Then about of your project, okay, because you need to ensure that week in week out you have your own what do you call it what do you call it, the yields. All right, okay, you need to have that. So and then, as I said, minimize your cost of gardening. Okay, make use of the recyclables, okay, item. And then organize the equipments. This is one thing, a lot of people thought that, okay, we want to do planting, but they forgot about the equipment. Okay, you need to have everything, your shovel, your everything, and to have to be in place. All right, you need to organize that. And then, okay, this is very basic. Okay, the maintenance. Okay, even though you're a beginner, all right, every week at least you need to do the weeding, you need to do pruning. A lot of people, based on my experience, when they receive whatever contribution, it's free, all right, from any of individual or government agency or corporate, they got it free seeds on so on, okay, or maybe the sapling. So they just plant and then they leave it like that. So this is not right, So you need to make sure that the discipline, okay, I mean yourself as the new comer, so you need to make sure that your duty roster, you need to plan your weekly activity. So that will answer your question lah. All right, any question?
Yes, Encik Rashdan, one more
Yeah.
question. So during this pandemic, COVID we are still at MCO, right? So there are certain difficulties in promoting urban farming and community gardens. So how do we work with the schools, or how do your organization work with schools during this pandemic?
Oh, yeah. First thing, you need to have communication with the head of school, whether it's the owner of the kindergarten or the principal, or the headmaster or headmistress lah for primary.
Mhm.
So tell them your idea,
Mhm.
put it on paper. As I said, you need to be organized. You need to have your own committee. So convince them you want to lead the project. So I believe that the school administration, they don't want a setback, So after they allow you to make use of the space in school, and then suddenly everyone run away. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is not on lah or not right. That's what I said. We need to have a proper committee for the project, so everyone have their own roles. So once you set the standard, you set the roles, the turn of reference for everyone in the project, then you can get the project done. Or else, even though the school really interested or they allow you to use the compound, but at the end of the day, if there's no commitment, you can't do much. All right. Convince the schools, convince the headmaster or headmistress that this project will be sustained and then will be looked after by the parent and the community. So this is a very welcome initiative by the school if there is 100% commitment to make things happen. So that's the answer lah. All right. So anything else? Oh yeah. Before that, okay. They can how to engage with the schools. Schools normally they will refer with their district office, and then they will get a permission from the jabatan. So before you write to the schools, so make sure that the district office and also the jabatan state office, education office, okay with that. Like in KL, we have no problem because we already signed an MOU with the director of education department, so they're okay to make use. Only we need to follow the SOP. So this is a very very important part because school normally they won't allow people to come in freely to school. But if you have a proper schedule, proper roster, so that I think the school will be okay because we have a scenario since last year and this year, numbers of schools in KL for the first MCO, the 1.0, they're afraid to come and look maintain the farm, and what happened, everything gone. But for the second round, we managed to convince the department, and in fact that officers from agriculture department so allowed those who are involved with the school project come to school and maintain the kebun. So actually it's not new, can be done. All right,
Mhm.
will be the answer.
Yeah. Oh, we have more questions coming in
Wow.
from the floor now. So
Alamak, suddenly
yeah,
baru panas
yeah,
baru panas
baru panas, correct.
Okay,
So
That's good. That's good. At least
That's good.
there's a lot of queries related to the
yeah,
starting the edible garden.
Dia
and this is the
lambat macam
reason.
Hindustan lah. Dia belas-belas baru dia panas. Dia hero baru-baru ni.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as a newbie, right, what would your key advice to start edible gardens, like the key points, like the first step? Let's summarize it. Like first step, we form our team, identify our stakeholders and partners.
Correct.
Does it
Very
mean that?
important. Yes.
Yeah.
Need to have a team. A good team will ensure a good result. Okay. So identify your team. Make sure you have all this land permission. The usage of land will be no problem as a newbie. And then this is a very, very important. Start, find a mentor. Go and find those who are really champion this table farming. We have thousands, I believe they have thousands of champions in Malaysia. You name it. Even in KL, I can say that we have a place like TTDI Edible Garden in Tamantun. So people who are newbie, they wanted to see how TTDI team, the TTDI Edible Garden team manage their garden. Go there and pay a visit. It's free at the moment. Okay, and then those who are staying in flats, they can go to PPR Sri Perlis. They can go to, no, PPR, sorry, Perumahan Awam Sri Perlis in Keramat. They can go to Perumahan Awam Sri Sabah in Ceras. So they're also quite good, okay. And then another PPR actually is PPR Raya Permai in Sungai Besi. They also have a very huge land, ample land. Even those newbie, they can also learn from the what they call the existing our partner there, to learn how to start farming. So this is the very important part. Learn how to grow, not just simply to try and error, because we are talking about plantings. Actually, it's about technical, so you need to learn. So learn from the expert. Not I can say you can learn from the Mr. Google, Mr. YouTube, and so on. But my advice: go and find a mentor. Okay, learn from them. So I think you will get a greater or best result from there. That will be the answer.
Okay, so let me summarize. The first step is we identify our partners who we can work with. Okay, then we get the approval. It's very important to get the approval ready. And then the third, we must have a mentor or champion, or we team up with those existing edible gardens
Yes,
owners or community, right?
correct.
And then we have our duty roster so that we have our commitments to work on the edible garden, right? So I
Right.
guess that summarized to these 4 steps to begin.
Okay, good.
Great. So next we have some question on, is there any incentive from DBKL to home grower?
Hmm.
Oh, important
Ah,
question nih.
ni
Ini amat
soalan
penting
yang
nih.
semua orang untuk tanya I lah. When I travel around, when I travel, I give talk about this urban farming. A lot of people say, tanya, ada ke there's a grant, there's any contribution from the municipal, from anybody? Actually, yes. Okay, to answer that, yes. Like in DBKL, for the startup, for the beginning, we allocate about 5,000. I mentioned about 5,000 for the new farm. Okay, new initiative. Subject they need to comply with all the requirements. So the requirement actually what I have been shared earlier. You know, you need to have a
Okay.
committee, you need to have the black and white of the land usage. You know, you need to show us the plan. What's your plan? Is there any social enterprise initiative, social enterprise movement will happen to your new project and so on. So we will what do you call that? Consider to fund the project if you show us for KL, yeah, if you show us
Yeah.
your master plan. So what's going to happen in short term, mid term, and long term. Of course, we, for your info as well, not just we give what do you call that, an incentive. So we also do these awards. You know, every 2 years we have this anugerah. We call it anugerah kebun kejiranan Kuala Lumpur. So whereby we have this star rating system, okay, marking. All right. So each star is worth 1,000 ringgit. So maximum of 5 stars. Now, so that is on the BKM. But lately, of late, I think last year, when this penjana thing happening, everyone was so excited, kan? Excited to start farming. So our Department of Agriculture also really helped many of the new growers, okay, who just started or maybe existing one. So with the equipment support, seeds, soil as well. So many incentive lah. But we can't depend 100% on contribution and so on. So we need to do it our own. That's how we can sustain. We can ensure that our farm actually happen as planned lah. Okay, because this is not like one off. This is not like what 3 months project. This is I can say is an everlast commitment. Okay, when you're doing a farming, because this is a life thing, you know. All right, so that will answer that lah. So we have incentives.
Yes.
All right, for the newcomer.
Wow, this is a very good news. And we have also one question from the floor. Their problems is the teachers, they do not know how to start planting. Therefore, the planting of the vegetables, they try starting it, but the roots get rotten when it's rainy season and the students feel sad. So I think I can start to answer this question. Okay.
Yes,
So
you are the expert,
most
Mike. You are the expert. I
yes,
know that. And
it's very simple. And
yeah,
work together with Pasar Kita. We will onboard you. We will provide you with the training and the knowledge, and we help you to grow it, and also we help you to market it. Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Okay.
help. Yeah.
I think
Okay,
what is
any
important, like what Jack Rashdan has mentioned earlier, it is the support from the support system from the community. Those are with agriculture knowledge, those with landscape knowledge, those with other related knowledge to work together for an edible farm to be very successful. Because at the end of the day, it is a community's project and everybody should get
correct.
involved. I'm quite certain that the benefits are very real, where parents, teachers, everybody, the community, regardless of our roles and responsibilities or our status in the society, to work together to appreciate food, appreciate garden, right? We have one more question. I think we'll take one more question
Mm,
before we
yeah,
end our session
yeah.
today.
Mhm.
So, is there any estimated budget? For example, if a home garden, I assume this is a small scale garden, a community garden. So, like, what is the minimum amount of money that the community should allocate for this kind of project? Assuming it's a small garden.
Yeah, because you did mention about house garden, right? So okay,
Yes.
house garden actually is, depend on you. I did mention as well earlier about one thing is you make use of your surrounding what do you call that stuff, all this like
Mm-hmm.
usable like tires, like there's
Mm-hmm.
detergent bottles, the Ecobricks that I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Yeah.
will save your cost. And then maybe don't know, a lot of people don't know that we have like in KL we have NGO named Free Tree Society. Okay, Free Society, whereby that they will teach people how to do gardening, to plant tree, especially to be
Mm-hmm.
specific, is plant tree. At the same time, they give away sapling, so sapling for you to start gardening and so on. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, they
Mm-hmm.
also give you seeds. So I can say more or less it's a very very minimal amount to be
Mm-hmm.
spent when you want to start for your house garden. So not much. In fact, that if you happen to know the existing gardens nearby your area, I think
Mm-hmm.
with a polite way, with a smiling face, use that, and then I think people will share, the seeds with you, so you can start your own house garden, by really minimizing apa what they call it, the cost. So you save a lot on that, and seeing everything grow accordingly will be make you turn into apa what they call that turn on your desire lah, to do more, and then you can expand it, not just in your house garden, everywhere. In fact, your neighbor garden also you will offer them for your service. So
Mm-hmm.
the amount that if you ask me to start with, as low as 500 to 1000 is good enough, as long you have the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did mention about
Mm-hmm.
equipment. It's a very important, okay, because you need to do all this
Mm-hmm.
chunkling, you know, all this
Yeah.
handling of the stuff, the pruning and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to invest a bit on the equipment. So make sure you have the right equipment, and then you spend on that, and I believe you will have your own house garden as you wish. Okay, so the amount
Mm-hmm.
is just spend about 5 to 1000. That's good enough. And then
Mm-hmm.
And always look around any free seminar like what Pasar kita have been doing today. You guys are so great, Mike and Iza. Okay, helping others in need. Oh, only God will what call that? Repay that. All your good deeds, all your good intention and so on. So this is another way of how you guys can ensure that your gardens happen as your wish lah. All right. So as a new beginner, as a newcomer in this urban farming activity, please what you call that? Ask around. You ask around, okay, politely. Okay. So there will be more people to help you. Okay. In fact, maybe in the next episode, maybe next session, I will share about success story about those projects happening. Everywhere in Malaysia, perhaps. Okay, that's my promise lah. Okay. All right. That's all.
Yeah. So we are already at almost 12 now. So we are almost at the end of our 1 hour session for today. Thank you very much for Jay Rashdan, your sharing and also your guidelines on how to start our own edible farm is very informative. Okay, and I also thank the floor for the questions, and I hope that we manage to answer most, if not all, the questions. And if there's any further questions or anything that Pasar Kita or Encik Rashdan can do, I'm more sure that Encik Rashdan is more than willing to help us to answer the question of this show. So please feel free to drop us an email, contact Pasar Kita. We will help you to start your edible farm with the support from Encik Rashdan. And also another round of advertisement. We are currently running a program to raise funds to help these urban farmers to onboard Pasar Kita and to start their own agriculture farming. So please feel free to share the link that I'm going to put in the chat box later and help us to spread the news so that we can help more people to participate in urban growing and also hopefully can help them to generate some additional income, especially during this time. Okay, that is all from me. Any words from J. Haniza and J. Rasdan? I pass it to you.
I start first, okay then?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So basically, it was a very good session by J. Rajdan. How to say, experienced guy in running these community gardens, engaging and managing the stakeholders for community gardens under DBKL and other local authorities. So moving forward, our session is going to be a continuous session. So those speakers that has been doing talks this month, we're gonna have the repeat. It's gonna be a repeating kind of events with the same speakers, but it's gonna be like a different episode related to the core episode that they have actually explained. For example, like what Cik Rashdan shared earlier, it's more like a startup, how to start your edible garden. So then we're going to have a next session with Cik Rashdan next month. We go very deep in how to start your edible garden and what are the problems that you're facing and how we can actually, and Pasar Kita and Cik Rashdan can assist and facilitate these problems. All right. So other than that, nothing much. Happy Father's Day. And happy weekend for all the fathers. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Great.
Pass to you, Rajadan.
Okay, nothing much because I believe there is more session for me in the near future. So I'm really looking forward for that. Many thanks for Pasar Kita inviting, getting me on board to share. Okay, a bit of my experience managing. So I'm more to managing the farms. So for now we have many farms. So I believe more to come. So with this initiative, this good what do you call that effort by the Pasar Kita team. So there'll be more home growers, there'll be more community farm to to be established in near future. So that's what we at what do you call that on this policy maker what do you call that part really looking at. So we want more people to involve, to participate, and then to contribute in making Malaysia a better country and this world is the best place to stay lah. So nothing much to say. Once again, thank you very much, Tim Pasal Kita. Thank you very much to those, the listener, okay, the follower of Pasal Kita team and so on. So I pray that we can do more things in the near future, inshallah, and for a better future of Malaysia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Encik Rashdan, and wishes everybody a happy Father's Day. So with that, we will end this session now. Thank you and bye-bye.